All right, cool. All right, so I'd say let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So even though we're not in Atania right now, Atania, the company that Violet, Anna, and I work at, they're the one who've been hosting the Women Who Code meetups for us. So I still listed them because they've been such a great support for us through this. So, move forward. Oh, I don't want to let me do that. Okay. So things we're going to go over is, like I mentioned before, just the Git basics, code collaboration, and version control. And I'll explain a little more of what that means, because when I first started, I thought that was a bunch of just big words. How to work on a team, and the project we will work on. So the only thing you make sure you have before we start this is just make sure you have Git installed on your computer and set up a GitHub account. I don't know if we had any more people jump in, but if nobody has those things, please do let us know. You can still follow along, but it's gonna be a little bit different experience if you can't code along. Okay. All right, so the Git basics. I realize it's not gonna show my notes. Yeah, all right. All right, so the main thing I like to cover is like the difference between Git and GitHub, because when you get started, it's kind of confusing. So Git is something that you installed, when you did it before, you probably would have seen. It's something you installed locally on your computer. It's not something for really working with other developers. That's what other tools are for. So it's just open source. Open source is a really fancy word for free. There's more to it, but it's a tool that's free and open for people to use that you can install on your computer to locally manage your code. So then you can, whenever you make changes, you can go back from changes you did prior, or you can make branches and things like that. We can explain more what branches and stuff are as we get a little ahead. But it's just a way to manage your code on your machine. That's all it boils down to. GitHub is an actual service that's online. Now there's a lot of other options like GitHub. There's GitLab. I can't remember all of them. I'm sure Violet and Anna can think of more offhand, but there's a lot of other ones. So
one other is Bitbucket.
Yes, there's that. There's a lot of like other options, but GitHub is one of the most popular. So what it is an online service. So you can use your Git to connect to, and then you collaborate and upload or download code or resources. So it's just a way to use your Git locally and actually communicate with the other developers. And you can work on projects together. I've dropped this at the bottom, the optional. That's something I can even send over later in the Slack channel once I get everybody set up on there, unless you want to type it down quickly. I'm just letting you know it is possible to configure your Git. So you don't have to type in the password each time or your email. You just configure it so your local Git always knows those settings. Are there any questions so far? Okay. All right, so just focusing on Git only, so not worrying about GitHub, there's two ways to get started. One, you can just start your own repository. So pretty much you're starting your own project. You're starting it from scratch. Or you go from an existing repository. That means you're starting from code that somebody else already started, and you're going to copy it in or clone it in. You're going to build off that or change it or do whatever you want to it. So the two different ways to do, or the new repository, the main way to do that, I'm going to go over that with you guys, and then we'll go off the existing repository. The existing repository is what we're going to be doing with the coding project together, because Violet is so wonderful and she already started the project for us that we're going to be building on together, and that's where we're going to go off of an existing repository. Now I know I'm using a lot of words. If you're new to this, may not be familiar, so please let me know and I can explain it more. I just keep going over them. Hopefully they'll start sinking in. So the basics, and we'll actually start getting in the command line and writing these out in a moment. But the basic commands that you're going to do in Git is you're going to add your files. So let's say when you're coding and building something, you have to actually tell Git, hey, I want you to add these changes in, and then you're going to commit them. So you're saying, okay, I made all these changes, add those in. And the reason Git does it that way is because you have different staging areas. You don't want it to be so white and black. Let's say you coded a bunch of stuff, and if you just right away, it was like a flip of a switch and it pushed all that up, there's a lot of room for error with that. That's why it has staging areas, so that you can do git add this, and then you can add another piece, and add another piece, and then you can commit that. And then, as you can see here, the stuff I have in blue is stuff that you would put in the command line. I just realized I clicked. No, go back. Okay. So in blue is what would be on the command line. And then you can write an optional custom message in there. And that's always good to do, because each commit in the future, you can pull down your commits and you can revert back to past times when you made commits. And it'd be a lot easier with the messages. And then you can check the status. Again, we'll look at this once we're in the command line. You can see what I'm doing if this is fairly new to you. This link down here, it's just one of the GitHub, Git cheat sheets. If you just Google Git cheat sheet, you're gonna find lots of these. I really liked this one in particular. I can send it over to you if you would like me to in the Slack channel. Actually, after this, I'll post everything there in the Slack, but it's just kind of explaining all the steps. Don't let this overwhelm you. Most of these you don't even use. And the ones that you do use, you start typing so often, it becomes second nature. Cool, just jumps right back in. Wow, that's nice. I don't do many presentations like that. That's really nice. Okay. All right. Yeah.
There's a question.
Oh, thank you.
Can you repeat what you said about the email?
Try to remember what I said about email. Oh, for configuring your Git? Yeah, so, oh, you about to say something, or? Okay,
No.
yeah, okay. All right, so for configure your Git, let me just go back. Oh, wrong screen. Down here, I'm guessing that's a question because I got too many things open. I don't see the questions popped up right now. You can configure it so the email that you would use is the email as the same as on GitHub. So then this is when you're actually connecting between Git and GitHub. When you do pushes from your Git to your GitHub account, it won't ask you for your login email. It won't ask you for your password. You could configure it with stuff like this. And you even do configure it with the password as well. This is me just kind of letting you know that is an option. And this is stuff I can post later as well if you don't want to type it down. Did that answer the question?
So the next question is it a general stuff, or do you do that for the project? This is the global configuration for your machine. So once you do the git config -- global user.name, user.email, that's for your whole machine. So you don't have to do it for every single project. Does that answer your question?
Cool. Cool. Okay. Let's see what I had on here. Sorry guys, got my notes on another screen. Make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so I figured we would go ahead and start with the first way you can start a Git repository. Repository is just starting a project pretty much. It's just starting a code, a project, let's just call it that. I'm gonna show how to do that. Starting one from scratch, so you would start a new repository. I do recommend this as a code along. I know for some people this is going to be very beginner for them. They're going to be advanced past this, but I don't know. I always recommend every chance you can to code along. So let me, go away. Let's just move this out of the way for now. And I'm just going to go through the motions, and I'll try and make it fast because it's a pretty simple thing. So let's say, for example, normally you're actually making something you really want to commit and put up to GitHub and show off. It's, it's a whole fancy app or something. But you can actually commit anything, just any kind of file. So I'm going to start with, this is my Women Who Code file. I'm just going to put an empty folder in here, and let's put a text file in it. One sec. Okay, I'll do stuff with the command line too. Let me open a new one so you guys can watch those steps. I think a lot of times you don't need most of the time you don't need the command line for everything, but I think that's good stuff to learn. And let's rename this to new REP for repository. And if I am going too fast, please just speak up and tell me. A lot of this does start feeling very second nature, which is promising because it will be for you as well. So all I've done so far is I just created an empty folder, which I could have done that in the command line too, by the way. But I just created an empty folder. So pretend I'm about to make a project there. And I opened up a terminal window, whatever terminal you prefer. Now I'm going to go to where that is. So I cd, change directory to my desktop. And I'm going to do this one at a time so you can kind of see it, just in case. ls, I'm going to list it out. That's everything that's on my desktop. Well, I actually need to go into Women Who Code and new repository. I've listed out blank. There was nothing there. That's why nothing happened after ls. Again, there's really no shame if you want to tell me to slow down or you have any questions. I feel like it was just a month ago that I was just starting in all this, so I understand. So I'm going to do the command for creating a new file with some text in it. Oh, and I should point out, I realized I should have said this, if you're on a Windows machine, your command line, your command prompt may be different. So if you're having issues with that, I wouldn't worry about this. This is not something like seriously you need to learn right here. I'm just trying to get to the point where we can go over using Git. But I usually use a Windows machine. I'm on an Apple right now. I think I saw a question pop up. I wasn't able to see it though. Yeah, so you can open those. There we go.
So the question was, should we be following along or just watching? And to answer that, feel free to follow along. In my opinion, it would be helpful.
Even at my level now, I would, if I was watching this, I would be following along because I think it's always helpful to always be coding more and more. It's good muscle memory, but it's up to you. We're just going to start slow and we'll pick up speed. So echo is that I'm wanting to add in this text for, I'm going to say this is some text that I'm going to put into my file, into my file.txt. Again, what I'm typing right now isn't super important. If you want to learn more about that, you can Google just command prompts, basic command prompts, either on Apple or Windows, whatever you're working with. So now I can just do ls, which again, that's just listing out what's in that file. And I'll just do that. And I'm still in that new rep file. As you can see right there, it's showing me. And it's now showing my file.txt is there. Cool, so I made it. And if I went in there and opened it, it would be a file that says this is some text. Well, we don't need to do that. So now let's get to what we actually do. To create a new repository, it's a basic steps. All you have to do is git init. So you're saying git initialize. That's it. And it's super fast. That's it. It just initialized it. And how do I know for sure? I can say git status. Git status is telling you the status of any files that need to be added, committed, anything like that. I can explain this as we go. But it's something that when I'm working, I'm typing constantly, and I'm always checking what folder I'm in, what branch I'm on. I mean, it's very important to keep track of that because you can lose track quick. So right now it says that I have an untracked file, my file.txt. Now there's two staging areas. I'm trying to remember how it works. Anyway, but what you do is you say Git Add. There's a couple ways you can do it. So I'm trying to add my file.txt to the staging area. So then I can commit it. So I can just say Git Add all. If I want, let's say I had like 20. Are you going to get bash or git commit? This is bash. Yeah. Let's say I had like 20 files I was adding at once. I could just say Git Add all if I wanted to, if I'm really confident. Another option, and once again, there's cheat sheets for this, so don't feel like you have to memorize this stuff. There's Git Add P, which will go through every single change I made in each file, so you can confirm whether each one is good. Or there's Git Add, and you actually type out the file you're wanting to add. So there's a few options doing it. It's a great thing about coding in every where you go. There's multiple ways of doing things. So now I'm gonna check it again. Computer's rocking on me. I'm gonna check Git status. So now it's not untracked. So Git is now tracking that, but it's not committed. And it actually tells me that changes to be committed. So, and there are options. Let's say you made a mistake. You can remove stuff, or you can revert back, and that's getting really complex. And that's stuff that even I'm not always going to remember offhand. That's stuff where I'm just going to Google, what stage I'm at and how to revert that or what I need to do. But we'll just stick to the basics. So now I want to commit it. So I'm going to say git commit. And I always recommend, I could just commit, but I always recommend add a message. I think we just commit, it actually pops up and makes you add the message next. I don't remember because I always do this right away. So I'm just going to say...
It does pop up and make you add a message.
Thank you, Violet. Yeah, I'm like, it's been so long. So I'm going to say initial commit my file. And I recommend, though, do really good messages. That actually makes sense. But so I committed the message. Now I do git status. Nothing to commit, working tree clean. So everything is good. So now that stuff is saved with Git. That's all just Git. For GitHub, what I would have to do is then I would go online to Google or whatever browser, and I would go to GitHub and create a new repository. Is that something you guys want me to walk through as well? Because I am happy to. Or I can just explain it. Okay.
There was a yes, please.
Okay, and I saw first I'll go ahead and repeat. So what I did after I created the folder is I just used my command line and I created a text file. Honestly, I could have anything in this folder. I just needed something to commit and to initialize. So that's all I did. I'm just arrowing up right now so you know I'm doing the command line. I'm arrowing up so you can see the things I did. So that's the command I did. And yeah, this is in Bash, but you could actually go into that folder and create files that way. So anyway, I did that, but as far as Git, the first command I did is git init. And that's where I initialized Git and started off this whole process with Git. Okay. Now I don't know what account I'm logged in under, and I only have GitHub with my personal, but let's see. Should be able to get logged in pretty quick. Oh, sorry. Okay. So with GitHub, first you actually go to your GitHub account and find out, yeah, I believe I'm logged into my, suppose I could, I don't know if I should do it under this one. This is my Women Who Code account, so. We'll just sign in to the other one. I have way too many accounts. Okay, let's just go to Gmail. Sorry guys, bear with me on this part. I wasn't really considering having this part up.
It looks like you logged out of Chrome instead of GitHub.
Yeah, I found through with GitHub, if I just logged out of everything with Google, and then I see what you're saying right there with Chrome. Yeah, I should have clicked, yeah, you're right. My bad. Yeah, thank you, Violet. That one should be it. Yeah. Do you guys have your GitHub just pulled up and you can just show them the steps? It might be quicker than me messing with this. I don't think I have my GitHub account saved on my last pass on my work computer. But,
so I do have it up. However, I was going to show some of the steps when we actually got into the project itself. So
what's that? Sorry.
Well, you're already logged in, so
oh yeah, sorry. Okay. All right, so from here, I would go to a new repository. Wow, it's been a while since I've done this. Oh, let's just call this, so I'm going to delete this later. I would give it a good name. Let's see. Women Who Code File. Yeah, we're just going to call it that. I'm not going to give a description. I mean, I would recommend doing a description, all that and everything, but this is just, I'm going to give it a README and then just create the repository. So right now, it's just a blank nothing online. But I want to, wow, let's see. Sorry, you guys remember, it's things from here. Add, Git Commit.
So there's a way to do it so it doesn't automatically create all of this computer.
It's been so long since I've done it.
So
That's not it. It usually takes you right to the next screen. That's why I'm.
So go back out and create another repo.
Yeah, it's supposed to take you right to it.
But instead of initialize this repository with a repeat, uncheck that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's call it file. Yeah, I think I usually add that later anyhow. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So don't add a README. So this is the screen it usually takes you to right when you make a repository. And it has all these different options. We already have an existing repository there. That's talking about on your what you have created with your Git. So it's just these two commands that you need to then put also on your push on the same folder within your Git. You're able to push those together, but I just like doing them separate, so that's just personal preference. Again, I always just like to get Git Status. All right, everything's ready. So right now it's just connecting the two. So I'm adding the origin, so it's going to be looking up at this specific file, or this to that Git there. So it should be, and then I'm pushing the code that I have locally here to it. And I have not configured this computer. This is not my personal, this is my work one, so. All right. I'm actually not going to go forward with this part, guys, because I don't want to enter all this on the meeting, but you would configure that, and then it would be pushed. And when you refresh, you'll see the my file text showing in that file, in that repository. I'm very sorry. I feel bad I'm not following that through. Are you guys okay with that? But that's it for all the steps. Okay. So that's creating a new repository with Git and GitHub. Let's go ahead and go back to our presentation. But I logged myself out like I shouldn't have, so. Let's do 1 sec. I'll get back on there. Okay. Blow up big. All right, so now let's go ahead and jump over. We can check out the actual project that we're going to be doing together. So if you guys want to bring it up also on your computer and you can look at it, but I'll go ahead and bring it up on this one as well. Should just go to the link, probably have the, there we go. Hard to reach down. Okay, so this is the actual project that we're going to be working on together. Violet already started everything for it, and we're going to be adding to it. So I'm sure most.
Violet.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of you have already looked at it. Let me bring up my notes, make sure I cover everything. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, just so you guys are set up for our future projects where we're actually working together, is we're going to go ahead, if you haven't already, you're going to go ahead and clone this repo. So that's the other option with Git to start out with a repository, is you clone an existing repo. So I just want to double check before I jump into this. Has anyone not done that yet, or has everybody already cloned the repository to their local computer? So I guess anybody.
Okay, I have not done that. Am I supposed to push that green clone download button?
Yeah.
On the and then it will automatically put it on the Git, or how does that work? Because that was one of the questions I had for you earlier.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, I just want to make sure. So since there are some people that haven't, we'll go ahead and cover that as well right now. So we're going to go ahead and clone it down. So yes, go ahead and click that green button. And you're going to go ahead and copy this whole thing. And then go to your command line. Let me get out of this. But you're going to go to the location where you want to clone it at. So right now, I'm still in that new rep. I don't want to be in there anymore. I'm done with that one. It was a great app. So now I'm just in the Women Who Code folder. I'm sitting in here. So I'll give you guys a moment. Do you guys have you guys are in the command line? Oh, thank you, Violet.
It's asking for a public SSH key. So what are we supposed to do with that?
So go.
Ask for an SSH key. So there's two ways to do it. You can either do it via HTTPS, which is where you want to do it, or SSH.
See how you see here, you can use SSH. Yeah, make sure you select with the HTTPS. Let me see if I click it so you can switch. Yeah, if you click on SSH, you should be able to switch back to HTTPS.
Okay, mine just keeps saying that there's no such file or directory. So am I supposed to do something before that on the Git in order for it to,
So I just want to make sure. So the first step is, do you just have a window open in your? So you have a command line open and you're in the directory you want. And let me know if that doesn't make sense.
Okay, so I've got Git open, and I've got so many things open. I'm getting really confused.
Okay, so let's go ahead and
So I just need to download this master zip, save it. Is that what I'm doing to the folder with my code? Is that where I'm putting this?
No. Let's go ahead and just let's simplify for a moment. So go ahead and I know you have a lot open, so if you want to go ahead and just minimize some things. Right now, just get I'll even minimize with you. You want just a command or a window open for your command prompt. Just open that. So if you can see my screen, just do that.
Okay, so I've got the bash window open with the Git.
Okay, you don't need Git. For example, where I'm at right now, I did not initialize Git, because I'm not creating my own repository. There's no, for example, if I tried Git Status, it's what? Nothing exists here. I didn't start Git or anything. I'm literally just in a location on my computer. Does that make sense?
So where is that at?
Wherever you want to be.
How,
So,
well, I mean, I have the Git thing open, so how do I get to just bash?
okay,
You must have the UI open or something for Git.
okay, yeah.
So, I'm on a desktop computer. I downloaded the Git program that you guys had, and I can see on the Git, it tells me Git bash. But if I'm supposed to be somewhere else, mine does not have the 3 little dots that you've got. So mine has a mean thing. So I'm guessing there's something else I'm supposed to be opening. But I don't know where I find that.
Okay. Yeah, the Git bash is okay if, instead of just regular bash, which bash is on Mac and Linux. So Git bash, you're right where you need to be. So just do an ls for a second, and it'll
Do an ls?
list everything that's in your current directory. ls. Like list show. ls.
It has Git bash and a Git cmd.
You might have created those files by accident, I don't know. But this basically right now, if you have some similar like command prompt that looks kind of like Kaylee's, it might say git bash ahead of it before the $sign or the slash, but that's fine. You're basically in a directory right now. So I think you're right where you need to be. And then let us know if, when you do a Git clone with the thing that that Kaylee just posted. Actually, she should probably post that in the chat real fast, the link. But yeah, basically that is that thing that you copy to clipboard on the web page. You're gonna put that at the end. So you're gonna type Git clone, and then put that.
And then put that. So Git clone, and then type in what I copied.
Yep.
Here, I'll go ahead and add it.
You don't have to type it in. It will do Control V and go paste it.
Right. I was just telling her to type Git clone. So, that makes sense to copy paste.
So there, I just put it in the chat as well. The G at the beginning does not need to be capitalized. It auto did that on me. So yeah, I'll go ahead and type it here. So all I'm doing, I just chose a location on my computer. I haven't done anything with Git because I'm just going to copy her repository. So I'm doing Git Clone. So I'm trying to clone her thing, and Control V. I just copied the other one and just enter, and it's doing its thing. And it was super fast, which was nice. I can find my other window and pull it up. Unfortunately, Violet was also wonderful. Oh, that's not the window I wanted. And also, so you know, the notes are, she put notes in here as well, the stuff that we are doing, but I'm still going to go through it with you. Okay? I'm going to put it to the side, though, while I go through it. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward unless anybody else speaks up, if that's okay.
Okay, mine is saying fatal destination path LAH already exists and is not an empty directory.
Okay, I think you might be trying to, this is my guess, that you're trying to clone it into something.
That means you already did it.
Yeah.
It's right there. All you have to do is access it, which Kaylee's going to do right now.
Yeah. If you still have problems, you might just be sitting in the wrong place within the folder that you already cloned in, but we can check that in a moment and see what happens. So now that I'm there, I'm going to go with an ls again, so you can see me do that a lot. And that's what's there. That just copied down from the internet, which is magic. So what I'm going to do is cd, which is change directory, into LAH. Ow, my internet connection's unstable. I don't like that. So now I'm at ls again, see what's in there. That's cool. You don't have to keep looking and all that stuff, but I like to. So that's all the files and stuff that are in there. So now what I need to do is install it. So even though I cloned everything in locally, I have not actually installed all those packages. This is getting a little more in depth right now if we're going over to Git, but the package JSON actually tells this repository what files, what other packages to use, is the way to put it. And now I need to tell it to actually install those. So some people, depending on what you have, it'll be yarn install or npm install. Yarn install should work. I just realized though, if you guys don't have yarn or npm, so that may be something. I just found, right. I'm gonna do npm install. Try yarn install first. That's what it's set up to work with, and you really don't want to mix those tools, but sorry, Violet. Yarn install got angry on mine because I don't have yarn set up right.
Just come over to the dark side.
I do like yarn. I've gone back and forth on the apps I've done on my own. I really don't have a lot of preference. I guess at some point during my setup, I just went npm and just left it, you know?
If it works, don't fix it.
Yeah, it's working. If you guys typed yarn install, and we'll pull it over so you can see what it looks like. It's literally yarn install, and it's running like mine is. That's a really good sign. If it got angry right away and said something about yarn doesn't exist, try npm install. You should know though on your computer whether you did node npm or if you did yarn. If you don't have either, that is our bad. I realize that was something that we probably should have you install prior, but that's something that we can get you set up on right after this. I can send you over the notes and we can get that set up.
Yeah, and you may have a lot different things showing up on your screen if you have yarn, and it's actually a lot prettier if you have yarn. But
I agree.
Yeah, don't be alarmed if your screen doesn't match Kaylee's right now. Just want to point that out.
So I'm just going to wait for a moment. How's everybody doing?
If you can just put a plus in the chat for us if you're moved forward, or put a minus if you're not, let us know.
Loving all these pluses. Go M. Yeah. Yeah, I got some votes for NPM there. I have not sat up this long in a few days, and it's kind of uncomfortable. I should probably mention, yeah, apparently I broke my leg over the weekend, so it's a little uncomfortable sitting up this much. I have the node modules, got some errors. I'll disregard this. Yeah, you can see I have warnings and errors too. As long as it ran through, you're usually just fine. A lot of errors tend to still pop up. I don't know, Violet and Anna probably have a little more to say on that, and still.
Fucking JavaScript developers, they just let their warnings and deprecations.
Whatever. It's not like Python.
Clean it up. Come on.
Is there anyone that's still going, or is everyone done?
Silence is acceptance.
Okay, cool. So you now have it running. So now to actually make it run, if you're familiar with using or running projects locally, is usually if you didn't know for sure with this one, you would have to check the package JSON file and see how it ran. I don't want to be too confusing. This one is under just, if you did yarn, it's yarn serve. Is it yarn run serve or yarn serve?
Yarn serve.
It is.
But before we do that, the
fire
connection to the Firebase.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I'll show you guys. Yeah, she put this node in. Do you want them to go ahead and just run this line though, or do you want them to actually update?
So that has to be run after. If you scroll up a little bit.
This one, okay.
Yes, so after that's set, that's when you run that command.
Okay. All right.
And to explain that command a little bit, that's to say, like, hey, Git, I know I changed this. I know this is in the repository on GitHub, but I want you to ignore any changes I make to it after I make this one change. So that, and the reason for that is because there's the API key and the project ID inside that main.js, and we don't want that in the repo.
That's super handy.
That's pretty cool. All right, cool. So
I don't think I've seen that actually.
yeah, that's new to me. That's cool. So we'll go ahead and update this together, and you guys are going to be doing this right along with me because I have not done these steps on this one. So we'll just read through it together, and this is how you would actually read documentation if you just went to GitHub and we're trying to figure out copying repository. Fortunately, this one's written really, really well. Violet's really good at this, but you know, it's nice to start learning on an easier one. So it's saying in the main.js file, this needs to be updated. So first, let's go ahead and navigate there. Do you guys think we're getting too far ahead for this one? Or I'm asking Violet and Anna, or do you think we should keep going on all this?
I'm so sorry, we were playing slight catch up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Quick question, you said we need to do the config before we ran the command to ignore main.js?
Yes.
Oops, I got some.
Oh, that's fine. You can just run the command again.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Cool.
That's fine.
Okay. So Violet, you were still planning us doing all this, right, for this one? I didn't want to get ahead for this meeting.
Yeah, yeah. Just be sure that everyone can get it running, and then we can look at the issues after this.
Sounds
after
good.
Everyone got this all up and running.
Okay. All right. So I hope you guys do have a code editor. So you're going to want some kind of editor. If you don't, please let us know. I like to use Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to open mine to get and look at the main.js so I can make edits to that file. There are other ways you could do it, but this is the best way, and you're going to need to get used to jumping in and using an editor anyway, because that's where you're going to be going to do your code. So I'm going to go to a new window, mine. Let me know if I'm jumping too fast or if you guys need some time. Folder. I'm just navigating to my desktop. I have too much on it. Women Who Code. That's not what I want to open. That'll be okay. It'll still show the nested folders. It's okay. All right, so this is the one, the Women Who Code to do, wait, no, that's not. LAH, that's the one. The Life at Home. I realized we didn't even go over yet. They probably read what the actual app's going to be. It's a really cool idea. So yeah, the Life at Home. I'm not going to cover in this meeting what these files are and what they do. That's something we'll cover in another one when we do another view covering. So we're just going to kind of jump forward, but it is saying it's in the main.js file. So, I don't remember, plain source, there's source. That's going to be your source main.js.
If you want, Kaylee, I can take it over from here if you want.
Sure, yeah, you can go for it. I wonder if I need to stop and then.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So Kaylee was navigating to the main.js, and I'm already here. So it's under source and then main.js. Is everyone there?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I put the API key, which will be this first line. I will put that in the chat again, but I also put it in the Slack channel. Some people have had issues with copying and pasting from the Zoom chat, so I do apologize about that. And then the project ID is this live at home, and then you can copy it. And this project ID is going to be in 4 spots. So I know that's a lot to talk about if you aren't in the Slack channel. So I'm going to wait a little bit. And feel free to put a note in the Zoom chat when you're done. I see a few coming in. I'll wait until we have a little bit, a few more people. Oh, and for those of you using VS Code, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have a my terminal open down here, and that's just so I don't have to jump back and forth between this terminal and the computer's terminal. Is everyone else good? Okay, there was no negative, so let's keep going. So Kelly mentioned earlier to get it running. So if you have npm, it's npm serve, might be npm run. If npm serve doesn't work, do npm run. However, if you have yarn, then it's yarn serve. And you'll see that it's running and building everything.
Oh, sorry, do the Git update first.
Sorry?
I don't know if you mentioned to them again after they did that to run the Git update index.
Oh, yes, we'll get there.
Okay.
Thank you. You can do that now if you want.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
It's this command right here. Thank you, Kaylee. But I'll come back to this once you actually get this pushed up, get something pushed up to GitHub. Okay, so we did a yarn serve, and you guys should see something that's similar to this. And when you go to it, this is what you should see in your browser. Is at least most people to this point? Is silence golden here?
Sorry, I'm playing hot and fast with that mute button. Yeah, we're up and running. And if anyone else has
Okay, so everyone, you guys can see. Okay. Is there, for anyone having, anyone not here yet, is there something Jessica, when you say it's not finding your package.json, what's the error it's giving you?
Says, if I type yarn serve, it says yarn run and it says error, couldn't find a package.json file in this folder that I cloned into.
Did you do the yarn install?
Yes. I mean, I can open up the LAH folder and it's there's a JSON or JSON package file in there. I don't know why it's not recognizing it though.
So, when you looking in your command line, this says this is near my computer, LAH.
I changed folders and I'm running yarn install again in the folder where I have that JSON file, so I think it'll be fine now. I will be quiet and you can move on.
So since you changed folders, you might have to do a yarn install again.
Yeah, no, I am.
Okay.
I moved to the folder where that file is and I'm redoing it. So I think I'm cool now. I'll be fine and you can go on.
Okay, so now that we have this up and running and hopefully everyone or most people see this now, after that, so we're in our terminal again. So you might want to open up a second terminal and cd into the LAH. And then we'll run the command here. Git update -index -s, assume unchanged, and then the name. Oh, Christy, if you remove the fun from home dash, that should fix your issue. Okay, so I'm going to assume everyone's good now unless someone says otherwise.
It's good, thank you, it works.
Okay, great. So now looking back at the GitHub repo, if everyone could make it there, that would be great. And we're going to look at making a branch. But before we make a branch, we're going to look at the issues. So I have a list of issues, and they're listed in the LH-FE project. And you can see that up top we have code, issues, pull requests, actions, projects, etc., etc. Most of our time is going to be spent looking at between issues and projects. So projects, I have what's called, it's kind of similar to a Kanban board, but it's not strictly a Kanban board. So there's a couple of different styles of managing a project. There's waterfall, which is super old school, Scrum, and Kanban are some of the more popular ones to do. And this one's kind of a little closer to Kanban, which is essentially as requirements come in, tickets get created, and as people become available, people just pull a ticket when they're available. I don't know if Kaylee or Anna have a better description of Kanban.
Yeah, it comes from Japan and a lot of their lean methodology, and basically for getting the cars through the manufacturing process, they basically took these cards with all of the information that would be necessary for the design of everything from the engine to the body to the doors and everything that it's that is related, and they basically had all these number barcodes on it, and they would pass it to the next team to work on. So, the painting, I guess I don't know anything about cars, but I just pretend sometimes. But yeah, basically somebody who's working on the engine would then hand it off once they're done, that same card to another team, that does like the body work or something. And so that way they had one card with all the information, but then they could pass it off to the next phase. So it's basically once you finish a card, you get it in the next card, and that way the whole company is on track. But we use it in software development, and usually on like one team.
Thanks. So this board is kind of designed after that as a Kanban board. Once you're done, just get the next day and keep going as things become available. And this is particularly important because you see here on the left, we have a to-do column, and you can drag these over. Now I'm not going to drag one over because I already have one in progress. And so this says move tags to the side navigation. Now, to create a branch, I've already created my branch, but let's say I did. It would be git checkout -b, and for a naming convention, we kind of want to stick to a particular naming convention. Whether it's, so if it's a feature, you notice here it says feature, it has the feature tag. This one has the enhancement tag. You'll also have a bug tag and a few other ones. But the main ones are going to be feature and enhancement. So in this case, it would be enhancement / and then a short description, like tags. And you hit enter. Now, I already have this branch created. And you can check what branch you're in by saying git branch. And as you can see, I'm already in the enhancement / tags branch. Are there any questions so far? So if anyone wants to look through these and see if there's one that you want to take, that's great. If you want to wait until later and see if there's one you want to take, that's fine. Just be sure to assign it to yourself. And you can do that. You can click it and then edit, and then you can assign it to whoever you want. Preferably yourself. Are we all, so for you guys, or probably for now, let's do git checkout -b enhancement /test. And see, that was super easy, right? Does everyone have this branch? I'm going to take silence as yay, unless someone says otherwise.
I'm having trouble with my Zoom window because it's not showing the very last line that you type. I just have to figure out what you typed to get to where you are and see what you checked out. Just can I have a second to do that, please?
Okay, so can you see where it says git checkout -b?
Yes, I can see that. So I can go ahead and type that in to my terminal and then get where you are. So I just need a second to do that.
Okay. Nina, can you see the git checkout -b right here?
Okay, I got there. And it's checked out.
Okay, great. So I'm to my enhancement tags because I have changes there. And to do that, and I'll show it. Hold on. The command itself to switch to a different branch is git checkout, and then the name of the branch that you want with. So because I already have it, I don't have to do the -b. So what the git checkout -b branch name does, it says, hey, create a new branch and then switch to that branch. We'll get to the assigning task in a little bit. So I switch back to the enhancement /tags because I already have changes there. I'm working on a specific ticket. It's the move tags to side navigation. And just to show what it looks like, this is what it is right here. So we have the tags along the left. So after that, I already had ran this command. But I'll run it again, just so you guys can see what it looks like. And that's all it does. And what it did was, hey, untrack this main.js. So, just to see what I have changed, can you guys see it says Git Status and then all the changes? Okay. So now I want to, like Kaylee was showing earlier, I'm going to add these. Now I like using Git Add dot, but I already know all of what I'm adding, and I'm confident that all of those things are where I want to go in. I'm also using Visual Studio Code so I can see here on the left, like, hey, these are my changes, and this is what's getting changed. So I'm pretty confident that this is where I want to change. So then we're going to do a Git Commit -m and then the message. So I'm just going to copy the name of the issue. This is the issue. There's multiple ways to get to it. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes, thanks.
And then what I'm going to do is do a git push origin. And well, first I'm going to do a git branch. And it shows me I'm here. Now, let's step back for a little bit and let's have you guys make a change. So if you guys go to the About page, so it's going to be under SRC, Views, About. Okay, everyone there? Going to take silence is golden. So just add a period right there and save it. And then you can do the Git Status. And then Git Add file name. And then Git Commit -m, and then let's say add period to the about page. Everyone good? Okay, I'm going to take silence as golden. So let's do a git branch to see what branch we're on. Again, I'm on tags, but you guys should be on the test one. So we're going to do a git push origin and then the name of your branch. If you can spell origin correctly. Are we all good? Because I'm about to switch screens. I'm going to take silence as golden. So, when you come back, you'll notice this yellow bar here, and it lets me know that, hey, there was a change, right? And this is where we kind of diverge from Git and GitHub. So I'm going to say compare and pull request. So let me actually go get that issue number. Oops. So it's issue number 15. You can see in the URL or here. So it's number 15. And I'm going to say, hey, I want it in the GIT Code repo. And I want it in to go against the development branch, push into the development branch. And I'm going to say, hey, this closes number 15. Okay. Then I'm going to assign it to myself. And for reviewers, we like to have at least one reviewer approve it. I'm going to assign it to Anna and Kaylee.
Great, create more work for us.
Hey, I have volunteered. And then I'm going to scroll down and make sure that, hey, these are actually the changes I want it to go in.
Yeah, I might actually learn something here.
Accidents happen, but you just want to make sure. And yeah, this looks like these are the changes that I want. You notice here, this is the period that I put in earlier. So you guys didn't have a specific ticket, but did you guys create a get to this point?
Put a plus in the chat if you can't speak or don't wish to.
Okay, so I see a couple of pluses. So I'm going to do the create pull request, but you guys don't, because this actually will create a pull request. And this is what it looks like. And you see, I put closes number 15, and you'll see down here it says linked issues, and this is the issue it linked to. And now, so this is going to look a little different for you guys because I'm an administrator, so I can merge it magically without an improver, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so if you click it, the linked issue, or bring you to the issue. But going back, this is what it looks like. Now, there was a question earlier about assigning issues or tasks to yourself. There's a couple ways to get to the issues. One way is through the project. This is to the projects tab, project, picking so I'm going to move this to code review since it's in code review. And be sure that once you put it in code review, put it in code review, and once you merge it in, put it to stage. So one way to assign it to yourself is through the projects, and then where it says assignees, pick your name. Another way to do it is to go through the issues tab and pick the one you want, and then assign it to yourself here. Does that answer that question?
We got a yes.
Okay, so after that, great. So great, I'm glad that answered the question. After making the pull request, someone will go in and improve it, and then this will tell you, hey, you can merge the thing now. And after you merge it, be sure to go move the issue over from in progress to code review. Did I miss anything, Kaylee or Anna?
No, I can't think of anything.
No, I think that was a really good overview of everything.
I would just be sure to let them know how much you care, that you wanted to give them some low-hanging fruit, some good issues to start with, and like really drive that point home, because this is actually a legit project for life at home with the COVID-19, and Violet has been really excited about this project, and so I think you guys may want to chip in and have your open source stuff, showing like live on GitHub. It's really good resume builder. But I won't steal your thunder. Go ahead, Violet. It's awesome. Just excited.
Yeah, so just as an overview of this project, like Anna said, this was created in response to this pandemic as an idea to say, let me move this. To say like, hey, if you want things to do at home, like for example, if you have kids, hey, NASA has this thing where you can learn different things through science, whether your kids is in K4 or 5th through 8th grade, or if you're looking for ways to exercise, hey, this one's yoga, this one's walking and running, this one's yoga, and there are other things as such as like entertainment, tabletop games. I don't have anything in for tabletop, but also for like if you're unemployed, hey, here's a resource to go get assistance, or if you're looking for a job, like hey, here are places that are hiring, or if you need assistance, etc. So that was kind of the idea behind the project, to provide assistance for the people who are quarantined at home or self-isolated at home. And the plan is for this to actually make it to production. So I'm excited for that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited about that.
I think the app is exciting. I would say I think the app's exciting, but also like Anna said, I think this is incredible for you guys to jump in, because this is like a great way to build your resume and actually experience what it's like to work on a team, and to really get that experience. So I think this is great just for like everybody involved. So thank you to Violet, and this is gonna be good.
And to volunteer for a good cause.
Mm-hmm.
All at once. Amazing. I didn't have this when I first got started, so like, thank you.
For sure.
Good to see this.
I wish I could have learned this way, like the real way, which is great.
Yeah, it's also, I just wanted to note that like, it's so different working on something from like, say, Udemy and your personal project, and you know, you have your local files and everything, and it gets really real when you have somebody looking over your code. You get more, you know, how I read this later, like 3 months down the line. You don't kind of think about that when you're doing your own pet project and nobody's looking at it. And actually, you do yourself a favor, because a lot of the code I wrote a year ago, I can't tell what the hell I was doing, but it's gotten better over time because of this vetting process. And I was just joking about Violet making more work for me. It's actually better to keep reading code that other people write, because then you also get to see how, you know, how to do something better, or, whoa, I didn't know you could do that, or, oh, I'm actually able to pinpoint, you know, red flags in this code before, you know, it's a good kind of judgment or understanding of, you know, how am I progressing with noticing things in the code and getting more familiar with the language, just exposure. You know, when I first started coding, I was just basically reading merge requests. When I finally got into my job, you know, I was reading merge requests a lot to understand the style of code, because there's a lot of different ways that you can instruct the computer to do the same thing. And the more you write it kind of like an English essay of exactly what's going on, this noun is like very specific instead of just a pronoun. It's like, you know, a very fully qualified noun. Say like, you know, instead of building, it's this specific room in this building, you know, things like that. It's kind of, you really understanding better how to code. And so that's another really important thing in this process.
Thank you. This was really helpful.
Awesome.
Well, I'm glad you were able to take something away from it. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns?
Did I miss, were we supposed to set something up to ignore sunsetting, or like through Git when I was having my issue?
So there's a command to ignore the main.js file, and that command is in the README.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read through after this, and I will get everybody that posted their email, I'll get the invite sent out the Slack channel. And through either Meetup or the Slack channel, you guys can reach out to us. Anna, Violet, and I are all available there. If you want, go ahead and jump onto the Life at Home on GitHub and start on a project. You're welcome to it. Ask us questions if you want to, if you're a little confused on where to get started. And we will be having another meetup very soon, covering the same stuff, like moving forward though, like helping us move forward on this app together as a group. So just be watching for that. If you guys have any other questions, please hang out. Otherwise, have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.